Let's jump right into this explainer. High-intensity sports are absolutely brutal. Whether you're on a basketball court, a wrestling mat, or a football field, the difference between winning and losing isn't always about how hard you can push. It's actually about how incredibly fast you can recover in those fleeting 60 seconds you're off the field, just gasping for air before going right back into the fire. Picture this. Your heart is just pounding out of your chest after an all-out sprint. Your lungs are on fire, your muscles are screaming, and the clock is ticking down. Well, what if the secret to bouncing back from that total exhaustion is literally good vibes? What if a simple, low-frequency vibration buzzing on your wrist could just slam the brakes on your fatigue? It sounds like total science fiction, I know, but today we're looking at research that proves this is a biological reality. So, to understand how this sci-fi concept actually works in human biology, we really need to talk about the parasympathetic nervous system. Think of this as your body's built-in physiological brake pedal. When you're sprinting, your sympathetic nervous system, that classic fight-or-flight response, is just flooring the gas. The parasympathetic system is the one responsible for rest, recovery, and basically pulling that biological emergency brake to slow your heart rate down. It's what allows athletes to rapidly recover from that extreme, hyped-up state. But how do we actually know if that brake pedal is working the way it should? Well, we measure it using something called HF-HRV, which stands for high-frequency heart rate variability. Think of HF-HRV as the ultimate scoreboard for your body's brakes. For athletes, this metric drops like a rock during severe physical stress, and then it reactivates and climbs right back up during recovery. It's really the perfect scientifically validated marker to track cardiovascular bounce back. Now this is where it gets wild. Researchers at the University of Pittsburgh came up with an absolutely ingenious way to essentially hack this biological recovery process. They use something called cutaneous vibroacoustic stimulation. And okay, yeah, I know that sounds super technical, but it basically just means wearing a tiny pendulum-driven subwoofer right on your wrist. It's a wearable device that sends specific low-frequency sound tones as literal vibrations directly into your skin and body. To figure out if these vibes could actually speed up recovery, the researchers grabbed 22 varsity and club athletes. We're talking wrestlers, football players, basketball players, and put them through a totally grueling trial by fire. First, the athletes had to subjectively rate different vibration frequencies based on how calming they felt. Then, they hopped on a stationary bike and sprinted brutally for 30 seconds. After that, they got a strict 120 seconds to recover. Sometimes in dead silence, and sometimes feeling those specific wrist vibrations. Finally, they just rated how recovered they felt. They didn't just do this once, either. They methodically repeated this brutal cycle 4 times for every single athlete. And during that critical 2-minute recovery window, they kept swapping the conditions around. Sometimes an athlete would just sit and recover in silence, and other times they'd receive one of 3 different vibration frequencies, like 40 hertz or 89 hertz, to see what would happen. But here is the catch. And honestly, it's a massive one. The researchers figured out pretty quickly that a standard 40 hertz or 89 hertz frequency doesn't just magically work for everybody. You can't just hand an athlete a device, set it to some default frequency, and expect this miracle recovery. It completely depends on the individual. When it comes to biological resonance, one size absolutely does not fit all. The huge twist in this study really comes down to this. The vibrations rated as the most calming by each participant were associated with increased high-frequency heart rate variability. What that basically means is the physical vibration only worked if the athletes subjectively felt that specific buzzing pattern was calming to them personally during their initial baseline test. It had to be a perfect personalized match. And the results totally speak for themselves. Out of the 20 participants they fully analyzed for this metric, 15 of them saw their HF-RHI recovery scores significantly jump up when they rested with their uniquely calming vibration compared to when they just sat there in silence. That is a massive majority. 15 out of 20 athletes experienced a real, measurable boost to their cardiovascular recovery just by feeling a customized, soothing buzz on their wrist. When you actually look at the data, the pattern is striking. There is this distinct upward trajectory for the vast majority of athletes when they moved from the baseline of absolutely no vibration to their customized calming vibration. It's solid proof that those personalized, soothing vibes were actively and forcefully engaging that parasympathetic brake pedal we talked about earlier. And there was an even more incredible relationship hiding in the numbers. The deeper the exhaustion, the greater the bounce back. Literally, the harder the athlete pushed on that bike, meaning the lower their HF-HRV dropped during the active sprint, the higher it predictably spiked during their calming vibration recovery phase. So the athletes whose bodies were most wrecked by the exertion actually had the absolute most to gain from their customized good vibes. So why does this actually happen? This brings us to a super captivating neurological mystery that these researchers really wanted to solve. Is the athlete's brain feeling those soothing vibes, consciously deciding to relax and then telling the heart to slow down? Or is something much wilder going on? Could your physical body actually relax first and then text your mind to say, hey, we're good, everything's cool now? What we're really looking at here is a classic top-down versus bottom-up debate in neuroscience, trying to figure out exactly how this wearable technology hijacks our nervous system. In a top-down model, the mind relaxes first, and that mental calm is what slows the body down. But in a bottom-up model, the physical vibration essentially tricks the physical body into relaxing first, which then sends signals up the chain to tell the mind that it's calm. To finally settle this debate, the researchers hooked the athletes up to EEG headsets to monitor their brainwaves. And honestly, this is mind-blowing. The data showed that frontal, alpha, and theta brainwaves, which are the classic signs of mental relaxation, did not drive the physiological recovery at all. There was literally no direct correlation. The brain's mental relaxation was just a byproduct. It was absolutely not the driver of the physical recovery. Let's break down exactly what is happening here, because it's a total body before brain reality. First, the vibration acts directly on receptors in your body, specifically things called baroreceptors. Second, your blood pressure and heart rate physically drop in response to that localized vibration on your wrist. Third, your body sends ascending signals up the nervous system to your brain. And finally, your brain receives those signals and just perceives them as a subjective feeling of calm. Your body is literally texting your brain to say, hey, we're relaxed now. This incredibly targeted bottom-up mechanism completely changes the game for athletic conditioning. It means the future of sports science isn't just about training harder and gritting your teeth through the pain. It's about leveraging custom-tuned wearable tech to instantly trigger our biological recovery switches. By giving your unique nervous system the exact sensory input it craves, you can basically manually activate your body's brake pedal exactly when you need it most. So, knowing that your physical body can literally trick your brain into calming down, how will you biohack your own recovery today? Think about it. What specific sensory inputs, whether it's a customized vibration, a certain rhythmic sound, or even deep physical pressure, can you use in your daily life to intentionally hit the brakes? It turns out the power to calm your mind might literally start right at your wrist.